how are ya? Welcome back to my channel for a video that has been requested for literally a year now. I'm finally doing it because it's a good stay-at-home type concept to record, and today I'm going to be making, trying, and reviewing all of Amazon's bestseller matchas. So I have ordered the 5 that popped up first when I typed in matcha, whether that be recommended by Amazon, bestseller, or a ton of reviews that weren't a million zillion dollars. I believe all of these are under $15, and I'm really excited to see which one wins, if any of them are really good options, if some of them are terrible. We're gonna find out together. I'll introduce you to all of them first, and I will link these down below for you, and then one by one we're going to make a little mini matcha so I don't use all of my precious Oatly at once, and give them a little sip test. So what we have is Kinko tea. This brand is Jade Leaf Matcha. This one is by Matcha Wellness. This is one that I have had in the past and really did like until I found one that I actually liked even better from Whole Foods. This is Batcha. And then the only one in a jar, which to me is a good sign, this is Pure Chimp Matcha. And something that is very interesting to me is out of these 5, only 2 of these are ceremonial grade matcha. These 3 are technically culinary grade matcha, even though this one advertises itself as organic. They all are culinary grade. If you don't know the difference, culinary grade is not going to be as high quality as ceremonial grade. I think that the primary difference is they remove the stem and all the veining from the matcha leaves before grinding it into a powder, which when you remove the stem and the veining, it creates a much more smooth taste. The stems and the veins can be a little bit tart, just not as pleasant. So this, as the name implies, is typically used for baking and things that you don't really need to taste the pure quality as much. So it's interesting that these are all so popular. I don't think I've actually even ever tried a culinary grade matcha as a drink. So I'm gonna be interested to see if I can taste any difference or not. These 2 are ceremonial grade. I will be drinking this with low-fat Oatly and unsweetened so that we can taste the essence itself. Now, where should we start? I want to start with one of these culinary. Oh, 2 of these were organic. Let's start with this. Matcha Wellness Organic Superior Culinary. Oh, is that better than regular culinary? Let's go whip up a tiny baby matcha and give this a try.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost.
Okay, pulling up my Amazon. This one was Amazon's choice. This was $9.99 for 1 ounce. I would assume if you make this every single day, this will last you about 2 weeks. And I have made my little half matcha right here. I'm excited to try it. This has 2,000 reviews at 4.5 stars. Like I said, this is superior culinary, so we'll see what that means. Also, do you like my Christmas mug? One of the only mugs that doesn't get too hot when I microwave it. So, taste-wise, it is a little bit on the tart side compared to what I normally get, but one perk that I am impressed with is it didn't clump very much. As you could see in my little montage, I use a hand frother, which helps with the clumps but doesn't always completely eliminate the clumps. So I would say that dissolvability is high, taste is average, price is good. It is a little more grassy than the really good, nice, smooth, well-rounded matcha. So all in all, considering the price, dissolvability, and taste, I would give this a 6 out of 10. I am a pretty harsh critic. I will admit that up front. Do I dislike it? No. Is it the best I've had? No. It's just kind of okay. I'm really excited for this one, so I might save this for last, just to keep you intrigued. Now, which one do you think? Oh wait, these all say organic. Very small up top. Well, at least that's one selling point. Let's try this cutie little guy, Stone Ground Matcha Green Tea Powder. Let me look up the stats for this one. Oh my goodness. This is very interesting. So culinary grade popped up as one of the recommended, which is why I purchased it, but you can switch to ceremonial grade for this exact same brand. And for 1 ounce of culinary grade, this is $6.99. 1 ounce of ceremonial grade, this is $27.99, if that gives you an idea of the price difference between the 2 different types. This little thing was $6.99, so it was very cheap. It technically is even slightly more than this larger bag as far as content goes. So this is gonna be significantly cheaper per ounce. Product of Japan. It does say on the back that this is good for smoothies, lattes, and cold brew, though this is Culinary. So let's go whip this up, give this a taste test. I'm excited to see what we think about this. It's crazy the price difference between the Culinary and the Ceremonial.
We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona.
Okay, we have our little Kinko. If you've not learned anything about me for my channel, is that I'm really bad at pronunciation, which is also ironic because I have a very hard to pronounce name. We're gonna give this a taste test. This one seemed slightly more fine, like ground, than the previous one. I'll be interested to see how that affects the texture of this matcha. And I will also say that if you're really bougie and doing this like the best way possible, you would also be sifting this matcha into your matcha bowl to reduce the amount of like clumpage. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that I'm not doing that while I test this, because the average consumer probably isn't gonna buy every single little tool to make this perfectly. So I'm gonna be testing it like the average consumer. Oh, I like this one more than the last one. This one is significantly less bitter. I do see a couple little clumps, but not bad. The taste is more well-rounded, and this is actually quite a bit cheaper per ounce than the last one, which is also a good sign. So I would say the last one might have been a little bit better with dissolvability, but this one is better with both price and taste, especially considering the fact that this is Culinary matcha. Last one, I feel like I could tell it was pretty bitter. This one, I don't think I can tell as much, if I'm being honest. Maybe I'm just not the bougiest person though. I wonder where the last one originated from. These are both product of Japan. Got a clump. That's my own fault. I think I'm going to give this one. Do I have to like round by half points, or can I round by 10th points? Also, my tongue's gonna be very green by the end of this. I think I'm gonna give this one a 6.8. Not quite at 7, not quite, getting really close. To me, 7 means like, you're pretty dang good. But this is like, pretty good. Not like pretty dang good, but pretty good. So I'm gonna give this one a 6.8, especially considering the price. Man, am I gonna be like really caffeinated after this video? Probably. Next, I want to give this good old matcha another try. A couple years ago when I was just getting into matcha, this was the one that I liked the most and recommended the most. It is a very good price point for being ceremonial grade. It's also organic, which is great. This is cultivated in China. The last two were Japan, so that is a difference. Let me pull up the price point. This is 2.47 ounces, so it's over 2.5 times the size of the previous ones. The cost of this is $14.95, so that's $6 an ounce. Let me go back to the other one's ounces, just so that you can compare and contrast. $9.50 an ounce for this one, $6.50 an ounce. So it's very interesting to me that this is significantly cheaper per ounce, but is also ceremonial grade. Perhaps it has to do with the fact that matcha is more desirable when it's a product of Japan. I'm not quite sure, but I really just care about the taste. So, though I am familiar with this one, I am excited to try it back to back with a couple other popular matchas and see how it stacks up.
I reach through mysterious ceilings, my whole...
I'm very impressed with the price point for being organic ceremonial, so I'm excited to try this back to back with the other ones and see how it stacks up. The color of this is a little less vibrant. It's still a nice green color, but it's a little bit darker in hue. Whoa. Very interesting. In comparison to those, the flavor of this is significantly more prominent. Not necessarily in a good way, definitely not tart at all, it just has a very different flavor profile to it. The best way I can describe it is kind of like leafy, like the smell of when you like break open a leaf. It almost is like a little bit spinachy is a good way to describe it maybe, which is very, very interesting. Dissolvability is great, and that's one thing that they actually advertise, and price point is great, and quality is great, but I actually think I like the taste of this last one a little bit more than this one. On paper, as far as the statistics I just mentioned, I would give this like an 8.5 out of 10, but if we were just going off taste alone, I might give this a 6.5. So I guess that evens out somewhere in the 7 range, technically beating out this one if you care about quality and price point and dissolvability, but I think just off taste alone, this one's still in the lead. We have 2 left, and I'm very excited about both of these because one of my friends responded to my Instagram story saying that she uses this one and loves it, so that's going to be interesting. And then this one, which is very funny, interesting branding, but this one is Ceremonial Grade, packaged in the UK, product of Japan. Before jumping into those and trying those though, I want to take this opportunity to say a quick thank you for the sponsor of today's video. I thought it was a good tie-in because today we're trying healthy beverages and the sponsor in its own way is also a healthy beverage, just a very different type, and that is Bellway. I have been using them for a few months now. If y'all don't know this about me, I have my degree in nutrition. So I love learning about different benefits of different products and supplements, and I've been saying for years that the thing I care most about is fiber. I really believe fiber is like the key to good, healthy gut health, and gut health is the key to overall health and just feeling good. So I'm very honored to be working with Bellway. What they are is a fiber supplement that you can mix into a beverage. They have a few different flavors. This is the big boy I have. It's lemon lime. It's one of my favorites. They're made out of psyllium husk powder, which is great because it's one of the types of fiber that does not cause discomfort, less bloating, which is amazing. You can have this 1 to 3 times a day. This is gluten-free, which is important to me, plant-based, good to go. If you're interested in Bellway, I will go ahead and link it down below. It's also great in smoothies. I recommend using the little hand frother like I've been using for these matchas to mix this into water to get it nice and incorporated. Since it is a very natural product, it could get a little bit clumpy, so once it's all nice and smooth, it's good to go. And after using it for a few months, I really loved it, so I'm excited to get to have an opportunity to tell you about it again. That being said, Bellway, thank you so much for sponsoring today's video. I love you. My stomach loves you. Never thought I'd say that before. Speaking of other things my stomach loves, let's go ahead and try the remaining 2 matchas. I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and try this one that my friend said she uses and loves. Premium Second Harvest matcha. I want to look up exactly what that means. I'll look that up while I make this, but a couple quick stats about it. Let's see what this cost comes in at. This one is $9.95 for this 1 ounce, bringing it to $9.95 an ounce. So this is one of the more expensive matchas. And this was also linked as Amazon's choice. But what's interesting is in a very, very small writing below that, it says for matcha powder baking. Amazon is not recommending this for drinking necessarily, but this has over 13,700 reviews averaging at 4.5 stars. So I'm excited to give this a try.
I look for the things I don't know.
Okay, wait, let me read something very interesting to you. So, Second Harvest is harvested in August instead of spring, giving it an earthier and slightly more astringent flavor than Ceremonial Grade matcha. I also didn't know until right now that Culinary is divided into 5 grades, and Premium is the top tier of Culinary, which I remember reading on one of these, and then there goes Cafe, Ingredient, Kitchen, and Classic as you go down. So that's interesting. There's a lot for me to still learn, but I do know what I think of taste, as I've said, so give this a taste. It's funny that it says that this should be a brighter spring vibrant green, but this actually seems like a darker, earthier green to me. This one taste profile is very similar to Matcha. The same kind of leafiness in a way. It's surprisingly not bitter, unlike the very first Culinary matcha that we tried. Dissolvability is good, price point high. So I think all in all, I would give this one a 6. These are all kind of in the same range, huh? I should have made the range smaller so that there'd be a greater range diversity. But all in all, I still think that this one is actually my favorite taste profile. Just considering the fact that this is Culinary, it is a bit more expensive and the taste is okay, I will just go ahead and rate it a 6. But the pros to this are the texture is really good, the dissolvability is really good, and it's not bitter, or as they called it, too astringent, which is great. Very interesting. Last but not least, the one I am most excited to try, this Pure Chimp, which is interesting that it's a product of Japan, packaged in the UK, and then shipped to me in the US. This has been all around the world. So this one is Ceremonial Grade. It's interesting that it's in a glass jar, however, because I do think that matcha is light sensitive, that it could ruin the antioxidant content inside of it. So you should store this in a dark place, and it's just kind of funny that they put it in a completely clear jar. Let's look it up here. This one's $14.95, so $8.54 per ounce. Technically this says this is 50 servings. I guess I make my matchas too strong, but I like my matcha strong. Oh, but this is cool. 5% of profits go to charity, a good deed, and 1% for the planet. I like the things behind this brand. Price point is Not the best we've seen, but on the better end. And the fact that it's ceremonial grade, it's interesting that some of these culinary grades have been more expensive than the ceremonial grades. But let's give it a taste test and see what we think. Okay, our final matcha. The color of this one looks a little more on the like normal vibrant green side, a little less of that earthy tone green. Let's give it a taste. Oh wow. This one has the most unique flavor profile for sure. Almost a little bit floral. Like, you know how you can get like rose infused lattes, that like kind of rosy flavor? It's very, very, very minimal. Very slight, but it's in here. This is not bitter at all. Let's see. Dissolvability, good. Taste, good. Honestly, I really like this one. I hope I'm not being biased because from reading the packages, I was most excited about this one, and this is one of the few ceremonial grade ones. But I think from a blind taste test, this one would be my favorite. Like I said, it is the most unique because it is a little bit floral, but it's not grassy or tart at all. Price point is good for ceremonial, especially considering that this one, which was one of my favorites, the ceremonial grade for this was $27.99, and this is $15 and quite a bit larger. I'm glad that Amazon does the price per ounce for you because this is 50 grams and I don't want to do that math. I'm actually very impressed with this. I think that their idea of a glass jar was a bad idea, but they did fill this to the brim if you saw my montage, so they definitely didn't cheat you of any product. I was a little bit hesitant about the fact that it has traveled all around the world, but I think this one is my favorite. I'm gonna have to give this one a solid 8.5. I've had better matchas in my life, but those are ones that I get from like very, very nice boutique coffee shops that cost like $10 for one little matcha in-house. So it's up there, and for being affordable, I'm very impressed. So all in all, I would say that this is my favorite out of these 5, and this is my second favorite. This might have more of the kind of cliche matcha taste. This one still tastes like matcha, but just a little more floral and a little less grassy. So maybe you could try them both and decide which taste profile you like best, but I'm very excited to at least know which ones are worth it and which ones are not. Hopefully, if you're interested in matcha, it gives you a little bit more clarity, at least on affordable and easily accessible, easy to find matchas. I'll go ahead and link all these down below, as I mentioned, and I'll also link Bellway down below if while you're drinking a healthy caffeinated antioxidant drink, you want to mix in a healthy fibrous drink, and then you'll just be feeling all kinds of awesome. Thank you for hanging out with me talking about my favorite topic, one of my like top 5 things in the whole wide world. I hope you have the best rest of your day, and I'll see you in a video very soon. Bye.